say hypothesis test. Last class we talked about the two-tail test, right? Two-tail test. If question asks something has changed different from, then from certain point, lower, upper, anyway, change it is not or different, right? So that case, two-tail test. One-tail test focus on particular direction, such as less than, more than, greater than, smaller than. If there is a direction, something like that, then it's one tail. Okay, where is that?
You said the keywords were like different. For one tail test, different. What was the other one?
Has changed.
Okay.
Chart. I gave you this chart, right?
Yes.
Look at this. Different from something is,
Okay.
and then add here has changed. Lower, upper, anyway, change it is not different, right? So two-tail test. If you see a word something like less than, fewer than, something decrease, then one-tail test. And then greater than, more than, increase, like this, then it's also one-tail test. From this chart, if hypothesis is like this, in alternative hypothesis H1, less than, then rejection area is left side. So we call this left tail. Left tail, one tail. And then in greater than, more than, something like this, and then H1, alternative hypothesis, greater than, on right side, rejection area. So is right tail, one tail test. Here and here.
Well, one tail is the H to the one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. An example. A company that manufactures chocolate bars is particularly concerned that the mean weight of a chocolate bar not be greater than 6.03 ounces. Past experience allows you to assume that the standard deviation is 0.02. Past experience in the standard deviation, population standard deviation. A sample of 50 chocolate bar is selected. 50 is sample size. And the sample mean is 6.034 ounces using the alpha significance level 0.01, 1%. Level of significance is, and then the question, is there evidence that the population mean weight of the chocolate bar is greater than 6.03? Greater than. there is direction on the chart. If you see greater than, then hypothesis looks like this. On this chart, I wrote like this. If it is one-tailed test, greater than, smaller than, less than, more than, something like that, one-tailed test, then state H1 first. H1 first. H1 is alternative hypothesis. Look at this. Okay, this is from the word greater than. You can say it's one-tailed test, right? If it's one-tailed test, then H1 alternative hypothesis first. H1 mean, population mean greater than 6.03. Greater than 6.03. In last class, at the beginning of chapter 10, null hypothesis always contain equal sign, right? Remember, I said keep in mind, right? And then alternative hypothesis never contain equal sign. So greater than, only greater than, not equal, right? So greater than goes to alternative hypothesis because there is no equal sign. After that, H0 null hypothesis equal sign, right? So opposite side of this alternative hypothesis less than, right? With equal sign.
Perfect.
So if you state alternative hypothesis H1 according to question, then this is easy. Okay? If you don't follow my steps like this, then confused. So H1 first, if it is one-tail test. Okay? So first step is hypothesis, right? Automatically you know is one-tail or two-tail. One-tail test, right? Okay, next step. What is next step? Determine Z-test or T-test. Okay, here standard deviation. The standard deviation is 0.02. This one is sample or population. It says past experience allows, and this standard deviation from past experience, population, right? So population standard deviation 0.02 is given. Known population standard deviation. So it is what test? Z, right? Normal distribution. Z test, right? Then we can open pH step. Okay, open pH step. You know how to. If you saved that pH step somewhere like under download, find the pH stat and double click, open by double click. Then it asks enable, yes, enable. then you can see add-ins and pH stat, right? Got it?
So it's the pH stat, but, okay, and then wanna add in.
Okay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is one tail test and Z test. Click pH stat and then go down to one sample test, and then is Z test, right? First one. Click first one, Z test for the mean sigma known. Okay. Type in data. Okay, null hypothesis 6.03. 6.03. Significance level 0.01. Population standard deviation is given 0.02, right? And sample size 50. Sample mean 6.034. Now, test option: two tail, up tail, low tail. This one is right tail or left tail? Right tail. Clue is pointing this way, right? So right.
Okay.
Right tail is upper tail. So click upper tail. Okay. Then click OK. Let's make this one bigger. Z test and so on. So when you test hypothesis, we need two values. Test statistic, critical value. Test statistic, Z equals, because it's Z test statistic 1.4142, critical value Z equals 2.3263. Okay. This is right tail, one tail test, right? On the mean, Z score equals 0. Left negative, right positive. So if it is right tail, upper tail, one tail test, critical value should be positive. After run this pH stat, if you think it's right tail, but critical value is negative, your answer is wrong. Okay? So check. So 2.3263 positive is okay. So critical value is 2.3263, and then test statistic where it is inside. So test result decision is do not reject null hypothesis. So you can write do not reject H0 null hypothesis. So when you take final, your answer looks like this. And then one more, conclusion. Conclusion, let's see, oops. Okay, now, do not reject H0, that means this is true, right? True means this is not true. Okay. H1 from question, right? So question is not true. So there is not true. No evidence that then the population mean weight of the chocolate bar is greater than 6.03. So copy the sentence. The population mean weight of the chocolate bar is greater than 6.03 ounces, like this. So step by step, follow my steps, then it's not hard, it's not confused. Okay? Question. Now, practice problem from number 3 to number 6. Try. Number 3, data in doesn't have data. So type, if you need the data, type in. Excel function.
Sample size. Sample of
Okay.
8.
Let's do it together. Save time. A business student claims that on average an MBA student is required to prepare more than 5 cases per month. To examine the claim, a statistics professor asked a random sample of 8 MBA students to report the number of cases they prepare monthly, monthly. The result I exhibit here. Population standard deviation is 2.3 cases. Can the professor conclude at the 5% significance level that the claim is true? Claim is true. Looks like two-tailed test, but claim is more than 5. So more than 5. One tail, right? One tail. H1 first, right? H1 more than 5. More than 5. More than 5. Right?
So therefore it's a one-tailed test
Mm-hmm.
because it's true.
H0 less than or equal to 5. Okay, now, is it Z or T? Z. It says population standard deviation is 2.3. Population standard deviation is 2.3, so is Z test. Now, open pH stat, but we don't know. Sample mean and sample mean, right? Easy way, click variable and type equal sign and then find average, specify, breakdown 5.625, right? Or using megastat or pH stat, megastat, descriptive statistics, specify, input range, and then OK. Sample mean is 5.63. 5.625, 5.663, close enough. Round up 5.63, or you can use pH stat and then descriptive statistics, descriptive summary, then input range. Oops. Come on. This mouse got anyway. This doesn't work. Mouse. I need a better mouse.
Could Could you go over that one more time?
Just a moment.
Okay.
My old mouse. Okay, which one do you want me to?
10.3. The, number 3. I'm at the null hypothesis,
Oh,
right?
no, we haven't got all of that yet. He's still talking. We got to
Yeah,
average.
hypothesis more than 5. Okay.
So the one you would choose is more than 5?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, more than equal to 5, right?
Yeah. In the computer, you just put 5. Yeah, in
You mean pH step?
Right.
the computer. Yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
I'm there.
Now it's 5.6 to 5. So pH step. And one sample. It's Z test, right?
Mhm.
Z test. Okay. Null hypothesis
5.6.
5.
Oh, that's 5.
Because this null hypothesis always about population, right? So null hypothesis is 5,
5.
and level of significance 5%,
5%.
0.05. Standard deviation, population standard deviation is given 2.3, right? Okay. And sample size, how many? 8. Sample mean, we got, right? 5.625. Then is right tail, upper tail. Click upper tail, then okay. So, test statistic. Z equals 0.7686. Yes.
Mine's giving me an error message, right? So I did the same thing you did, right?
No, you got to put 0.05. You got 5%. You got to put
0.05.
See?
Okay. Thank you.
Right? And then critical value Z equals 1.6449, because it's right tail, upper tail, critical value should be positive, satisfied, right? And then same. Right tail critical value is 1.6449. Test statistic is inside, so do not reject null hypothesis. So test result is do not reject null hypothesis H0. Okay, this is true, this is not true. So question is not true, right? There is no evidence that the claim is true. What kind of claim? More than 5 cases. So claim more than 5 cases is true. So question more than 5 is H1, right? Do not reject H0. That means H0 is true, H1 is not true. H1 is question. So not true, there is no evidence. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4. A company that manufactures chocolate bars, the same as the example, is particularly concerned that the mean weight of a chocolate bar not be greater than 6.03 ounces. Past experience allowed you assume that the standard deviation 0.2 ounces. A sample of 50 chocolate bar is selected and the sample mean is 5.98 ounces. Using the alpha equals 0.01 level of significance. Question: is there evidence that population mean weight of the chocolate bar is less than? So it will be one-tail test, right? One-tail test. One-tail test. What did I say? H1 first.
Okay.
Alternative hypothesis first, because it's one-tail test. H1 less than 6.03. Mean, population mean less than 6.03. Then H0, opposite side of less than is greater than or equal to. Equal sign in null hypothesis. So greater than, equal. .03. Okay. It's one tail, right? Left tail or right tail? Right? Left. Because this one pointing left, right? Like arrow. Okay. Z test, T test. Z-test, right? Because point 2 from past experience. So population standard deviation, point 2 is given, right? So Z-test. Now we can use pH stat. Click pH stat. One sample. Z-test. Okay, null hypothesis 6.03. Level of significance 0.2, right? 0.01.
Yes.
Thank you. And population standard deviation 0.2. Sample size 50. Sample mean 5.98.
Or 6, or would you round up?
No.
Okay. So the upper tail too?
Lower tail. Because it's going to the left.
Okay.
Left tail is lower side. So click lower tail. And OK. Critical test statistic Z equals negative 1.7678. Critical value Z equals negative 2.3263. Left tail, lower tail. Critical value should be negative. Left tail, critical value should be negative. So negative 2.3263. And then test statistic is inside. So do not reject null hypothesis. Do not reject H0. This is true, not true. It's the same, right? Not true. There is no evidence that, and then copy. Copy, repeat the sentence. The population mean weight of the chocolate bar is less than 6.03. Clear? It's fun, right? Number 5. A bank has developed a process to improve serving customers. A random sample of 15 customers is selected. Sample mean is 4.87 with 2.5 minutes of sample standard deviation. At the 2.5% level of significance, question: is there evidence that the mean waiting time is less than one tail, right? What did I say? One tail?
Less than.
One tail? H1 first. H1 mean less than 5, right? Then H0 mean greater than or equal to 5. Okay. It's one tail, left tail, lower tail, right? Now, Z or T? T, because sample standard deviation is given. Sample standard deviation S equals 2.5 minutes, right? So it is t-test. Now, open TH stat. One sample test. Okay. One sample test. First one is Z test. Second one is T test. So click T test. Because this one is T test. And then the same process. Null hypothesis is 5. Level of significance is 0.01. Is it right?
No,
No.
0.025.
Yeah.
0.025. 2.5% is 0.025. Sample size
15.
15. Sample mean
4.8.
4.87. Standard deviation, sample standard deviation 2.5. Now is lower, upper, lower tail. Lower tail. Then okay. Easy and fast. If you determine right one, then it's easy and fast. Test statistic. T equals negative to 0.2014. Critical value T equals, because it's left tail, lower tail, it should be negative 2.1448. So negative critical value, lower tail, satisfy. Then left tail, lower tail, negative 2.1448. Test statistic is inside. Do not reject null hypothesis. Do not reject null hypothesis. Null hypothesis true. H1 not true. H1 is question, right? So there is no evidence that, and then question, the mean waiting time is less than 5. Mean waiting time is less than 5 minutes. Good? How about if The test result is reject H0. Reject H0 means not true, true, right? In that case, there is evidence. Understood?
Say that
Okay.
again?
If test result is reject null hypothesis. Reject null hypothesis means null hypothesis is not true. H1 alternative hypothesis is true.
Okay.
That case, the question is true. The question less than true. That case, there is evidence. Number 6. A manufacturing company produces electrical insulators. If the insulators break when in use, a short circuit is likely to occur. So, to test the strength of the insulators, destructive testing is carried out to determine how much force is required to break the insulators. The test from 30 insulators reveals that sample mean is 1,638 pounds with 56 pounds of sample standard deviation. At the 0.05 level of significance, question: is there evidence that the mean force is greater than 1,500 pounds? Greater than. One tail test, right? Then what?
Alternative.
H1 first.
Yeah.
H1 mean greater than 1,500 pounds. H0 opposite side with equal sign. Less than equal to good? Okay. This is one tail, right tail, upper tail. Next step, Z or T. T, because sample standard deviation 56 is given. Sample standard deviation S equals 56 pounds. So it will be T test. Now open pH step. T test. Okay. Null hypothesis 1,500 level of significance
Point 5.
05. Sample size
30.
30. Sample mean
1639.
1638. Standard deviation 56. Lower upper tail test. So click upper tail test, then click on OK. Okay, test statistic. T equals 13.4974. Critical value. T equals 1.6991. Upper tail, right tail, critical value should be